In this episode, we talk about if you should take a side casting deal on the show you don't actually want to go on. Welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast with Dan Giesling, where I answer your reality TV casting questions once a week. Hey everyone, and welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast, the podcast where we answer your reality TV casting questions every single Monday. Really excited to be here today. We have a unique take on a question that is coming from a place of success in reality TV. Really excited for you guys to hear this question. Before we get into that, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I reminded you guys last week. Also want to talk about last week. And last week I felt like probably out of all the podcasts, that was probably the worst one. And I'm just being straightforward with you guys, and not because of the question. I just look back at that one and be like, I'd like to have that one back, but you can't go back in time. You can only make this one better. So I'm really excited to answer this question. But with that being said, you guys need to join the email list at howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. On that list, I'll include a tip for every single podcast that you won't find on the podcast, answering the exact same question on the podcast, but just takes it one step further. You get the email every Tuesday, no spam-erino. You can sign up for it by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this week's very interesting question.
Hey, what's up, Dan? It's Johnny from the Holler. I've been enjoying your Snapchats and podcasts as always, and I got a quick question for you. I applied for one of the big 3 reality shows, the one I'm in love with, and with your help, I got a call back. And wouldn't you know it, the timing just ain't working out, and it just didn't happen this time. But they've contacted me with a new show that is being casted by the same people who cast one of the big 3 that I want to be on so bad. So they're talking about even flying me out to LA for the show, and I like the concept of the show, but I don't want to do it if it's going to hurt my chances of getting on the other. However, it'd also be nice to make a good impression on the people who cast this other show that I like. So, can you help me out of a pickle? Should I go? Should I seem interested? Will it piss them off if I tell them no? Thanks, Dan. I was wondering about your thoughts.
Johnny from the Holler, what's going on, man? Thank you for your question. Also, congratulations on your success. Thanks for the shout out saying that you got some success as a result of listening to the show, but not only listening to the show, but taking action on what you've heard on the show, which is just as important as hearing it in the first time. Also, yeah, Johnny mentioned my Snapchat. If you guys want to check that out, you can go to Snapchat. Just look up the username Dan Giesling. It's all one word. I answer questions on there. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A type thing on there soon, but I'll announce it here on the podcast first. But before you do that, you want to add me on Snapchat. Anyways, before we get to that, actually, let's get to the question. So essentially, I would ask you a few clarification questions here, Johnny from the Holler. The first thing is that you said you got a call back for the show you wanted to be on, but it didn't work out timing-wise. Now, I'm going out on a limb, and I'm saying it. I'm hoping it's not X, and I'm hoping that it's Y. So what I'm hoping that it's not is that you got invited to a semifinal call, and you couldn't make it because of obligations, whether it's work, family stuff. If you rescheduled that, I'd say you blew it, because people in casting want to know that this is the most important thing in your life, and you're willing to push your job, you're willing to push off family stuff, whatever, to make the meeting. Okay, so if you rescheduled that, I hope you didn't. I hope you meant it didn't work out timing-wise because you just weren't a right fit for the cast that year. But this is a general note to everyone. And I actually got this question emailed me, a very similar question emailed to me about the same thing. And I always encourage people that email me to ask on the podcast. But he said, hey, I have a family vacation planned, but it's the same time as semifinals. What should I do? If I tell them, hey, can I reschedule it? Am I done? Yeah, you're done. You don't want to do that. I went through that exact same experience in the finals, but you just don't. You want to make them feel like this is the most important thing in your life because it's the most important thing in their life. They got to do their job to get committed people. But to get to your question, so essentially it didn't work out for the show you wanted to get on. The same casting director kind of recommended you for another show, which is a great thing. because they see something in you. The casting directors all talk, and they're like, hey, I need a cowboy from Alabama or whatever. And they're like, oh, I got the perfect person. Boom, here you go. Then there's little trades and all that kind of stuff where when they're in a pinch for another show, they call back. And that's just how it works. That's how anything works. So your question is, you don't really, from what it sounds like, this isn't your A1 priority show. However, if they're talking about sending you out to finals, they definitely see you fitting the mold that they're looking to fill. Which brings the question, is it better to have a bird in the hand than two in the bush? And that's something I never thought I'd say again. But essentially, you're kind of getting a pathway to a short route to get cast on the show. Not that you're guaranteed to get cast on the show, but you're given this pathway saying, hey, you're a perfect fit. Let's go check out this aisle and skip a few steps. However, if you don't want to go on the show, do you want to roll the dice and maybe never get that same pathway for the show you want to go on? So really, you have to answer the question, how bad do you want it? Would you rather be on a show that gives you an opportunity, or would you, even if it's not the show that you love, or would you rather say, hey, I don't want to go on that show, I want to only get on this show? And either way, it's a win-win, because if you turn that down, you tell the casting director that you've been working with, hey, look, thank you so much for thinking of me, but the only show I want to be on is X show. And then you really show that person that you're serious. However, if you're open to it, I would say go for it, because your percentage chances of getting cast definitely increase because you're filling a specific mold for whatever reason and whatever traits that you have. That's a great thing. Now, the other question you said, is this going to hurt your chances to get on the show that you want? If you go through the process, you go through finals, and it doesn't work out, no, that's not going to hurt your chances to get on the show you want. However, if you go through the process and you get cast on the show, it's not guaranteed that they're going to put you on the other show as well unless you become this superstar character. You see there's very little crossover. Although we see it, we've probably seen it a small handful of times when you see someone on X show and Y show, but that's not a guaranteed. So really the question comes down to, how bad do you want to compete on reality TV, and how bad are you tied to the idea of only going on the one show that your heart's been set on? And I can't answer that question for you. I can just answer the questions that you put out there, that in terms of a consequence and what's going to happen. So I know this is a really unique scenario, but it's a great scenario. It indicates to you that it should validate to you that you have what it takes to get cast on the show. It just may not be the show that you want, and it may not be the show that you want to go on right now. So I hope this helps you come to a conclusion. Please check in later and let me know what you ultimately decide. But I would say I would strongly consider at least going through the finals experience, because you're not even to the point yet where they're saying, hey, we want you on the show. That's when you got a serious decision to make. So my advice, if you're asking me for my advice, what I'd recommend, go to finals, get some casting experience, see how it goes, and when someone's got a golden ticket in front of you, it's kind of hard to turn down. But anyways, thank you so much for asking the question, Johnny from the Holler. We're going to send you a free digital copy of my book, How a Normal Guy Got Cast on Reality TV. And if you want your question answered on the podcast, just like Johnny, you can submit your voicemail question to howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask. And it's a real simple voicemail app. Submit your question, because it's what makes the show go round. There is no show without you guys. And there's a lot of good questions, but I always like to get the freshness. So send in your freshness. But thank you guys so much for listening, and good luck with that decision, my friend. All right, so that wraps up another episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. I feel good about this one. This one's like, all right, we came back. We pulled it out. And speaking of getting back on track, you guys need to join the email list at howtogetonrealitytv.net/list so you can find out one more tip that I didn't share with you about this specific question on the email list. Check it out by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. And I will see you guys next Monday. Have a great one. Stay out of trouble. Spartans lost. It's not good for business. I'll see you next time.